Chapter 1, The Photograph. The rain fell steadily across the city, turning the streets into rivers of reflected light. 28-year-old Joanne Micheals pulled her coat tighter as she hurried along the pavement. Most people would have described her as attractive before anything else: blonde hair, sharp blue eyes, confident posture. They would have noticed the calm way she carried herself and the quiet independence that seemed to surround her. What they would not have noticed was that every shop window doubled as a mirror. Every reflection was an opportunity to check whether she was being followed. And every stranger was assessed without conscious thought. It had become second nature years ago. Tonight, however, Joanne was focused on staying dry. A sudden gust of wind caught her umbrella and turned it inside out. "Perfect," she muttered. The rain intensified. Searching for shelter, she darted beneath the awning of a narrow antique shop tucked between two buildings. She had walked this street dozens of times and had never seen the place before. The faded sign above the door creaked in the wind. A warm yellow light glowed from inside. The shop should have been closed. Yet someone had left the lights on. Curious, Joanne stepped closer to the display window. And froze. Among the old clocks and silver-framed photographs sat a black and white portrait of a young woman. A blonde-haired woman. A woman who looked exactly like her. Joanne stared. The photograph was dated 1987. Impossible. Her pulse quickened. Then, for the briefest moment, the woman in the photograph smiled. Joanne blinked. The image became still again. She stood motionless for several seconds. Then she shook her head. Too many books and not enough sleep. Turning away, she continued through the rain. Her apartment occupied the entire top floor above Bellamy Books. It was the sort of place people imagined wealthy eccentrics might own: comfortable furniture, polished wooden floors, and towering bookshelves that covered nearly every wall. Joanne loved books. History. Literature. Biographies. Travel journals. Philosophy. If she wasn't working, she was usually reading. The apartment smelled faintly of coffee, paper, and old leather bindings. As soon as she entered, a large orange tabby cat appeared from nowhere. "There you are, Winston." The cat responded with an indifferent look before demanding attention. Joanne laughed and scratched behind his ears. To outsiders, her life seemed remarkably simple. A young woman living comfortably from a substantial inheritance. No financial worries. No husband. No children. No visible career. Most people assumed she spent her days reading novels and enjoying the privileges left by her wealthy grandfather. The assumption suited her perfectly. Because none of it was true. At least not entirely. Arthur Micheals had died 3 years earlier. Officially he had been one of the 20th century's great mining entrepreneurs. During the 1950s he traveled extensively throughout southern Africa, searching for diamond deposits and rare minerals. His work later took him across South America, Australia, and parts of Asia. He built mines. Founded companies. Made fortunes. Lost fortunes. Then made even larger ones. By the end of his life he possessed a vast international business empire worth hundreds of millions. But that was only the story the public knew. The truth was considerably more complicated. Arthur Micheals had spent decades gathering information. Mining camps. Shipping companies. Banks. Diplomats. Pilots. Explorers. Everywhere he traveled he built relationships. Networks. Sources. Connections. Information flowed toward him from every corner of the globe. Eventually intelligence agencies began paying attention. Some sought his cooperation. Others sought control. A few sought his death. Arthur survived them all. When he died, he left the majority of his enormous fortune to his granddaughter. The decision shocked the family. His children expected equal shares. Business partners expected influence. Lawyers expected years of disputes. Instead, Arthur's will was surprisingly clear. Most of the estate belonged to Joanne. Only Joanne. The inheritance fractured relationships overnight. Yet the money was not the most important thing she received. A week after the funeral, Joanne opened a sealed envelope addressed in Arthur's unmistakable handwriting. Inside was a single sentence. If you are reading this, they have finally started looking for the archive.